Hello, guys and gals, and welcome to another episode of Unique Items. Isn't that right, Mr. Cow King? Yes, it is. Mr. Cow King said it is right. Today we are going to be looking at some throwing items. The throwing mastery and throwing skills got revised in 2.4, and a lot of the throwing items could see a resurgent in use and popularity. So bring out your dead. I'm just kidding. Bring out your throwing items because they very well could be quite valuable soon. But today we're going to be going over a very specific throwing item, which is a mid-tier throwing item called the Scalper. The Scalper, I'm sure, is a reference to all those old Indian movies where the Indians would scalp the cowboys and take their hair and sell them or something. And the other way around, too, from what I remember in some of the movies. The cowboys were scalping the Indians as well. And selling them to the French, if I remember correctly. Enough with the gruesomeness of the Scalper. Let's just talk about the weapon itself, shall we? So right off the bat, you'll notice it's 54 to 99 damage, which is relatively low for level 57, quite honestly. A one-handed damage is 33 to 66. Now keep in mind that this is an axe class weapon, so if you use it in melee and as a melee item with a melee skill, or just simply a regular melee attack, it uses axe mastery. If you use it as a throwing item, if you throw it with throwing skills or just simply throwing it in general, it uses the throwing mastery. So do keep that in mind. It does not use both, by the way. It only uses one or the other depending on how you are manipulating the item. It has a quantity of 200 now, which it only used to have 130. All throwing items got a huge increase in 2.4. 2.4, by the way, launches on April 14th. We also have a dexterity requirement of 80, which is not bad, and a strength requirement of 25. It is a fast attack speed item because it does have 20% increased attack speed, as well as a 200% enhanced damage, which does vary by 50%, so it goes as low as 150. And it has 25% bonus to attack rating. Now, when you see an item that has a bonus percentage to attack rating, that's pretty huge. So if I have 1,520, you'll notice that when I put it on, I get a nice little bump in my attack rating. But you do need flat attack rating to make that work. So things like Ravenfrost, which have 250 attack rating on them, will get a nice bump from the 25% that you have. But if you have no flat attack rating numbers, that 25% is going to do relatively nothing. We also have 6% lifesteal on this, which is absolutely great. It does vary between 4 to 6%, so by 2% variable there. We have 33% open wounds, which is amazing because it prevents monster regeneration. It is a 8-second bleed on any monster that has at least 1 health missing, and it does scale with your level. So as you level up, the open wounds will do more and more damage, which is definitely very nice. We also have +4 to mana after each kill, which is also a very nice bonus, and it's definitely going to be very helpful to keep your mana pool up. As you kill each target, you will get a nice bonus to your mana of 4. Now, it does also have Replenishes Quantity of 1 in 3 seconds, and that means that we can utilize an ethereal version of the Scalper. So the ethereal version is 81 to 147 damage, definitely a little bit better as far as the damage is concerned, and the one-handed damage is 48 to 99. I've always felt that the Scalper was a little low in damage for level 57, and usually by the time you get to Hell difficulty, you're begging to change out your Scalper for something else. Now, you can actually upgrade the Scalper to its elite version, and we're going to go ahead and we're going to do that. We're going to see what we end up with. So the Scalper Francisca would need a Pull Rune, a Lum Rune, and a Perfect Emerald, and that would be upgraded to a Flying Axe of 45 to 198 damage on the throwing, 51 to 195 on the one-handed, which isn't bad. A dexterity requirement of 108, which is a little high, and a strength requirement of 88, which is not bad at all, and only a level of 64. So a fairly nice upgrade there for the Scalper Flying Axe. Definitely a lot better than the Francisca, and could definitely come in handy for a throwing barbarian with a relatively minimal level upgrade from 57 to 64. So definitely something that you could consider if you were going to build a throwing barbarian in the future. The Scalper Francisca ethereal version can also be upgraded, and let's see what we end up with here. So we have 81 to 147 throw, 48 to 99 one-handed, 70 dex, 15 strength, and level 57. To 66 to 297 throw damage, 75 to 291 one-handed damage, 98 dexterity, 78 strength, and level 64. So not bad upgrades at all for the Scalper Flying Axe. In fact, if I was a throwing barbarian and I didn't have access to some of the other throwing items in the game, this could definitely be a very solid choice as I level up into Nightmare and Hell difficulty. Level 64 is basically right about there where you're getting into Hell difficulty, and the damage on this is pretty nice for the beginning of Hell difficulty. Granted, you're going to run into some physical immune monsters and things like that, but you're going to have to come up with some creative choices to try and get around those particular monsters. These could also be utilized very well as one-handed weapons, I feel like, for a Frenzy Barbarian or maybe even a Zeal Paladin or something like that. It's a halfway decent weapon that could work as a stopgap until you get something better. 75 to 291 damage is certainly not bad at all, and the Replenishes Quantity will keep it from breaking. Not bad. Let's see where we could potentially find this item if we wanted to. So we're going to go over to Silo's Pen, and we're going to take a look at Silo's Pen and see what kind of monsters, bosses, and so forth that would be good to kill to find this. All right, so I'm going to assume we have about 200% Magic Find. That seems fair for a Nightmare level character. We're going to look at bosses first, and we're going to go by probability. We're going to ignore the quest flags because those are one-time only kills. And it does look like Bale in Nightmare is our best chance at 1 in 506, with Andariel in Hell coming in very close with 1 in 539. I do feel like Andariel in Hell is probably the better choice there as far as farming partners. Trying to see if there's any like Nightmare level monsters, but it doesn't look like it. But I mean, honestly, quite honestly, Mephisto, Andariel in Hell, and Bale in Nightmare are all really good choices. I feel like those are pretty good choices as far as farming partners are concerned. And also Diablo in Hell difficulty if you really wanted to go that far. But if you were a throwing barbarian who was just leveling up for the first time, it's probably going to be either Bale in Nightmare for leveling purposes or Andariel in Hell. Let's check super uniques real quick just to see what kind of super uniques we could potentially farm for this. Nightmare Cow King is not bad at 1 in 1082. We also have Pindle Skin in Nightmare at 1 in 5770. That's actually not bad at all. Bishy-Bosh in Hell difficulty, Rockanishu in Hell difficulty, Treehead Woodfish, Bone Ash. These are relatively easy to farm monsters in Hell difficulty Act 1, as well as Cold Crow is also very easy to get to. Those are all relatively easy to farm monsters, including Bonebreaker. They also drop some very nice items, like for instance, you can get Harlequin Crest Shaco from them. So definitely a good combo there. You could farm Bonebreaker, Cold Crow, Bone Ash, Treehead, Rockanishu, and Bishy-Bosh in Hell difficulty, right basically in Act 1. And they're all, like I said, they're all relatively easy to get to, and they're all relatively easy to kill. So good choices there all around. Anyway, as always, I do appreciate you guys and gals watching my videos, even when I am apparently scalping people. Don't steal my red hair. And as always, thanks for watching, and keep watching.